Hey everybody, this is DBS TCG Central bringing you another deck profile. Let's get started. So today, I'm sure you guys saw the thumbnail. Um, I'm bringing you SSB Vegeta and SS Trunks father and son Onslaught. This leader is from Realm of the Gods. Super strong leader. It's one of the new meta leaders that's been causing an uproar. It's probably your next best yellow leader that we have out right now. Sun Gohan was really good for a while, especially the blue yellow version. It got nerfed really bad, and everybody's looking for a place to put all their yellow good stuff, and it looks like this is going to be the one for now. But it's an excellent leader, super strong. I'll tell you what he does. Okay. On his unawakened side, so when this card attacks, you can draw one card. Active main, if you have 2 or more energy and you choose one yellow Vegeta in your battle area and place it under this card, you may flip this card over. If you do, draw one card, then add cards from your life to your hand until you have 6 left. So it's an early self-awakener. If you play a Vegeta and you have a Vegeta on the board on your turn 2, you can stick it under this card, flip this card over, and awaken early. Super strong, really good. Also, you could awaken when your life is at 4 or less, and instead of untapping and drawing one, you draw 2 cards and then flip it over. Mostly every time turn 2, you're going to have a Vegeta out. Really easy to find in this deck. This deck draws you a ton, and you can go from there. So when you awaken, SSB Vegeta and SS Trunks, father and son Onslaught. So its auto is when it attacks, you may draw a card just like every other leader. Or if you don't draw one, you can choose up to one of your yellow Vegetas, yellow Trunks, or yellow Bulma future cards with energy cost of 1 in your hand or drop area and play them in rest mode. Obviously, if you have them in your drop area, you're going to want to play them. You want to keep all the cards in your hand you can just for combo power and stuff, or if you need to play them. So huge advantage by just putting it into play. And once they're into play, we can X evolve, and I'll show you exactly how you do that. And once you X evolve, you draw a bunch of cards. So its other auto is once per turn, when a yellow battle card activates an X evolve skill from your hand, draw 1 card. So the cards automatically will, that when you X evolve, will draw you a card from your leader, but also those cards draw you cards too. So this deck draws you a lot. It's really, really good. So also you have an active battle once per turn. Place 1 card from under this card in its owner's drop area. This card gets 10,000 power and double strike. So once per turn, you could go for game or use it when you need to, but it turns into a 25k double strike. And a leader swing, they can't just KO it or anything because it's your leader rather than a battle card. So it's really strong, and it's a good way to finish your opponent off. All right, let's get started to see what's in the deck. So the main engine for this, this came out in the Realm of the Gods. This is like a must-play in the deck. You can do whatever you want with the leader, but this is the best way, and most players play it this way. But the first card is Trunks father and son teamwork. So it has barrier, so it's really hard to remove because it's a 1-drop. If your leader card is yellow Trunks future, when this card is played, you could choose one. You could either draw a card, or you could play up to 1 Vegeta father and son teamwork from your deck or drop area with its non-keyword skills negated for the turn, and then shuffle your deck after you look through it. So that card is huge because you'll play this, and then it'll get your Vegeta. And this is the Vegeta father and son teamwork. Like the leader said, if you have Vegeta on the board, turn 2, and you put it under your leader, you can awaken. So having this card that goes and gets this and puts it into play. Does it put it into play? Let me just double check. Teamwork from your drop area. Yes, so it plays it from your drop area or your hand for free. So you'll play this one, and it'll play this one. So this one has barrier, which is awesome because you want it on the board on your turn 2, so they can't get rid of it. It's a little more protection for it, so you can awaken. If your leader card is a yellow Trunks future card, when this card is played, you can choose one. You could either draw a card, or you could play the 1-drop Trunks, just like the Trunks plays the Vegeta. So they play each other. Really, really strong. Really good. And I'll show you exactly why. I do 4 and 4 for consistency. It's really good. Now the Trunks. I run 3. We have another searcher in here that helps us find this. I just feel like the Vegeta I run I'll show you after. I run 4 of, and that's more important. But this one's really strong too. It's almost like a poutine built into the deck. So it's got barrier blocker, and you can X evolve for 1, and you draw a card. And when you X evolve, you do it onto a 1-drop Trunks, future Trunks. When this card is played using an X evolve, you can switch it to active mode. So if you have to swing with this, or this is tapped or something like that, when you evolve onto it, it'll untap this, and you can use this as a blocker or an attacker. It has barrier, so it has built-in protection. Once per turn, if your leader is a yellow Trunks future card, when your opponent plays a battle card or unison card, choose that card and switch it to rest mode. Super strong. So you evolve it onto him, and now you're hanging out, and if they play anything, a unison or a battle card, it'll just put in rest mode as soon as they play it, the first card per turn. Actually, I believe you can choose, but super, super strong. Now, the Vegeta I play 4 of, really strong. This is the 3-drop that evolves onto this guy. So this has X evolve, draw 1 card. So when you X evolve these guys, your leader once per turn is automatically going to draw you a card, and then this will draw you a card. So when you X evolve for 1, you're actually drawing 2 cards every turn. So it is really strong. So draw 1 card, and then you evolve it onto a 1-drop Vegeta. When this card is played using X evolve, switch it to active mode, just like the Trunks. The thing is with this is once per turn, when this card attacks, you can choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards in rest mode, ignoring barrier, and KO it. Huge. Barrier removal is huge. If you have a threat that is on the board that has a barrier removal, this thing can get rid of it if it's in rest mode, and we'll show you other ways that you can rest stuff to KO it. It's just super, super strong. It's such a good card. Barrier removal is huge. You want floodgates, barrier removal, and board wipes, I feel, in every deck. And if a deck can give it to you, then it's perfect. So for consistency, I run 2 of these. Bulma Future on the Line. It's a future Bulma. You can play it with your leader with the leader ability, but when this card is played, you draw a card automatically. And its active main is if your leader is a mono yellow Trunks future card, which it is, and you discard this card from your hand, look at the top 7 cards of your deck, and you can choose up to 1 yellow Vegeta or 1 yellow Trunks future with energy cost 3 or less. So it gets you any of these Vegetas and Trunks. So you play this. It's just for added consistency. You can use it with your leader ability, and it'll help you find what you need and all your pieces and everything like that. So I just play 2 because, we cram a lot of stuff in here, and it's just for consistency, really. You don't need to run it. A lot of people don't, but I do. I just like the consistency. It's yellow, so we got to play our extra card limited 1 secret rare, which got banned on the list to just which was limited on the ban list to just 1 in a deck. But for 1 energy, it's a counterplay, and I went over this before on a different video. But if you have a mono yellow energy open and active battle, you can pay absolutely nothing, draw a card, and tap an opponent's battle card or a unison. Huge, wicked strong. Every yellow deck should run this, and the craziest thing about it is, like, every yellow deck can run it, and it only helps fuel your freezes, which I'll show you in a minute. A new card that came out in Realm of the Gods is Realm of the Gods Black Kamehameha. So this card is crazy. Extra card, super strong. Active battle, if your leader is yellow, choose up to 1 of your cards, and it gets 10,000 power for the battle, and then I can choose 1. And if it's your turn, you choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards in rest mode, you can KO it, so some extra removal. And if it's your opponent's turn, this is the way I play it every time. If it's your opponent's turn, draw 1 card, then choose up to 2 of your opponent's battle cards and switch on the rest mode. That's huge. Almost like a floodgate. You're resting 2 cards that are a threat on their turn. It's active battle, so it's after they attacked with something, maybe their leader or something. You could just tap 2 of their battle cards they're going to go in with, and you draw a card. Huge. Really, really good card. If you don't have them, I suggest you get them. They're just super, super good for yellow. So I contemplated Flying Nimbus, but I think that because of this deck has some barrier blockers and a lot of blocker action, I went with these instead. Forbidden Power. So it's basically an upgraded Flying Nimbus. You don't have to discard a card to use it. You don't want really to discard any cards. Like, I like to draw cards, so discarding is like kind of a negative, so I don't like doing it too much. But Flying Nimbus has its decks that it's really good in, and it helps you out. But For this deck, I chose this. It's if your leader card is yellow, your opponent can only attack with battle cards one more time for the turn. So that's the counter attack. It doesn't negate the attack, but active battle. If your leader card is yellow and it's your turn, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards, ignore barrier, and switch it to rest mode. Then choose one of your yellow cards, and it gets 10,000 power for the turn. So you play this, you block with one of your blockers, and then they can only attack with one more battle card for the turn. And then its active battle is unbelievable. So active battle, you could pay one, and you can rest something, ignoring barrier. So this card helps put something in rest mode with barrier, and then this will KO something in rest mode with barrier. So it just helps the deck, and you can get rid of crazy threats as long as they're tapped, and that allows you to tap something with barrier. So, all right, so those are a bunch of extra cards. I got a few more I'll show you, and I'll show you why I run them. So I run the Slug Package, and I run 4 Assimilate. Now, I do this, and I decided to run the Slug Package because, first of all, it's strong. I'll explain what it does in a minute, but also I want to get as many extra cards easily into my drop area as possible. And this card acts as a filter, and it puts an extra card right in right away for 0, so you don't need to worry about it. So what it does is assimilate active main. You on your turn, you can choose up to one of your yellow Namekian cards with energy cost 2 or less from your deck, and then add it to your hand. I'll show you what we get. But first, I'll tell you why I run 4 of these. You play it. It goes into your drop after you use it. That's just adding to the extra cards in your drop area, which are super important for this card, which I went over in another deck profile. But this is a Floodgate. Mecha Frieza Robotic Riposte. It's like the yellow Topo. It's super strong. It negates the attack, and it is 1 less for each extra card that you have in your drop area. So you have to pay 1 specific yellow, but you'll end up paying 1 energy for this every time in this deck. It is super strong. And when your opponent attacks, every time they attack, they have to tap a card. So they have to tap an energy or a leader or whatever. So it really helps you out and it accrues advantage after a while because they can't swing with much if they tap out to use their energy, if they tap their energy, or if they only have a few battle cards out, or if they attack with their leader, they have to tap one of their battle cards. It's just really good. It really is a pain for your opponent. And I run 4 because it's so good in this deck. Like I said, with the Assimilate, I run a Slug Package. So this is the first part of the Slug Package. If you guys know what it is, when you play this card, you draw a card. That's the auto. Active main once per turn. For 1 yellow energy, you can choose one of these options. And the first one is choose up to 1 Slug's Army card with original cost of 3 or less in your hand, and you can play it, and then you can place this card in the drop area. The other option is choose one of your opponent's battle cards and switch it to rest mode, just in case you need to rest something for some kind of reason. You have that option too. But we usually use the first ability to play a 3-drops Slug's Army, and I'll show you which ones we use. I got a little spice in here that's kind of a little weird that people don't run. So everybody with the Slug Package, they always play this guy because he's super good. So Lord Slug Super Namekian. He's got unique, so I only run 3. He has barrier. You could play him with that card I just showed you. Its permanent is Bond 2. So when this card is in rest mode, Bond 2 means if you have 2 or more battle cards on the battlefield. So you would need 2 other battle cards in the field plus this, or actually I think this and another one, and then Bond 2 takes effect. So when this card is in rest mode while Bond 2 is active, your opponent can't add cards from their deck to their hand using non-leader skills. So when their leader attacks or whatever their leader does for them to draw a card is fine. They can't draw any more cards any other way from any other thing. Super combos they can't draw from, or anything else. Just their leader will draw on the cards, and all the skills that make you draw cards on other cards just won't work. Super strong. It really enfeebles your opponent. It also has an active main for 1 yellow. If your leader card is a yellow or a Slug's Army, ours is yellow, you can discard this card from your hand, and you can play up to 1 Slug's Army with energy cost of 1 from your deck and shuffle your deck. So say you have like 2 of these or 1 of these in your hand, you can just pay 1 energy, and then you can play this Slug's Army for free. And when you play, well, not for free, for the 1, but you can play it from your deck, play it, and when you play it, it'll draw you a card. But also you get this effect too, where you could play something else, maybe another one of these, or some of the stuff that I'll show you. This is the spice I was talking about here. So I run, a lot of people run Angela or whatever that thing's name is. I'm not sure what it is, but and it's strong, and I put it in my sideboard. But I run this weird package. So this is a Lord Slug Xeno that came out in an expert deck. It's a blocker. It has unique. That's why I run 3. As you know, this slug could play it for 1 because it's 3 or less, and it is a Slug's Army still. So with this thing, the auto, it's a blocker. And for 1 energy, this auto doesn't really matter. It's for the expert deck, but I use it. I'll play it. It has unique. It's a blocker. So if I need a blocker for 1, I can play it, no problem. But when it's out, I play this guy. So this is a little spice I picked up. It's a really good blocker, and it does a few things. I'll show you. It's got energy exhaust. It's a dual color, unique blocker. It has X evolve. So when you pay 2, you draw a card, and you evolve it onto a Slug Xeno with energy cost of 2, which is this one here. And once it comes out, it has a once per turn. Is when this card is KO'd by an opponent's battle card, or it activates its blocker. So both. So if it dies or it activates blocker, switch this card to active mode. So it restands. And then its other auto is when this card is removed from your battle area by an opponent's skill, choose up to one of your opponent, 1 card in your opponent's hand and up to 1 of their battle cards, and place them in their owner's drop area, and then choose up to 1 of your opponent's unison cards and remove 2 markers from it. So it's a 25k threat. It's a giant blocker. So if your opponent attacks once per turn, and it doesn't kill this, or you combo with this, you can restand it and get another block out of it. Plus, when it's removed by a skill, so they'll have to try to get through and kill it. But if it's removed by a skill, then they have to choose 1 card in their hand, and they have to choose 1 of their battle cards, and it places them in their drop area. And you -2 one of their unisons. So it's really strong, and it's a crazy little tech. It's a big hump to get over. A lot of people don't play it. I like a little spice. I wanted to surprise my opponent, and that's why I did it. But I think it's a cool little package. All right, so now we'll show some yellow good stuff. Krillin, moments before a comeback. This is the best yellow super combo right now. You put a card at the bottom of your deck, and then you draw 2 cards when your life is at 4 or less. Huge. That's the best super combo in yellow right now, I'd say. And then yellow good stuff. Turles, all too easy. This guy is a monster. He is a game ender. When he comes out, he does so many cool things. But for 2 energy active main, if your leader card is mono yellow and a Saiyan, which ours is, and you have 3 or more energy, you can just play this card from your hand for 2. So it's a 5-drop 20k double strike. You play for 2. And when it's played, you can choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards in rest mode and KO it. And then you could choose to either draw a card, or you could choose another one of your opponent's battle cards, and then another one of your opponent's battle cards that are in rest mode and KO it. So you KO 2 things in rest mode, or you could draw a card and just KO 1 thing. But when it comes out for 2, it's a 20k double strike. So it's really, really strong. It ends games sometimes. All right. And then defensively, I got this counterplay. It's super strong. This is just like the Frieza Riposte. This is affected by extra cards in your drop area. So it has blocker. It's a counterplay. And the card that's being played, that your opponent plays, will be played in rest mode, and then you draw a card. Really, really strong. And when activating this card's counter skill from your hand, reduce the energy cost of this card by 1 for each yellow extra card in your battle area, energy area, and drop area. So just like the Frieza, it's cheaper if it's in your drop, in your energy, or in your battle area. So it definitely is good to play for one. Yellow good stuff. Counter. When you play it, you draw a card. If they have 6 or more stuff in rest mode, you draw another card. So possibly draw 2 cards, but if you're going for game and they try to counter it, you can counter their counter and your attack will still go through. This card, it was they had a ban list and it was limited to 1. It is super strong. People get so frustrated. But so when one of your opponent's cards gets switched to rest mode, you can play this for 2 energy, 1 yellow and 1 colorless. And when you play it, you can choose up to 2 of your opponent's battle cards or energy, ignoring barrier, and switch them to rest mode. Crazy. So what people would do is what they would play, they would tap something with any of these cards that tap. All these cards tap. So you would tap something, and as soon as you would play this, and then you would tap their 2 energy. So what they were going to defend with, they can't because you tap their 2 energy, and now they have no energy open, and then you swing for game with one of these crazy things, and then they can't defend it, and you combo and do whatever you have to do. So it's really, really good, and it's a good surprise, too. They don't expect it. And secret rare, I went with this one. I'm mono yellow. I wanted to get rid of skills sometimes. It really comes in handy. I get enough floodgates so I don't run Kai, and I get rid of a lot of there's a lot of KOing, so I don't have to worry about board wipes. But ultimate deflect critical. So this is basically what is it called? Cold Bloodlust, like for the Frieza army decks. You pay 1 energy and you negate the skills of any monster that comes into the battlefield or is on that they play. Even if it has barrier, it just ignores their skills completely. So they basically get blanked and they'll turn into like a single strike beater. But it also has another permanent that if it's removed from the battle area, it's removed from the game, like most SCRs are. And if your leader card and all of your energy is mono yellow, your opponent has 3 or more energy, you can reduce the energy cost of this by 7. So it turns into a 1-drop. It is super broken. It surprises everybody. And then when it comes into play, it's got critical and it's 40k. So usually they can't get that critical, so they don't get the hand advantage. It's really strong. All right, well, that does it for another deck profile. This deck is running up the meta like crazy. It is super strong. Everybody's got their own little build going on. And if you're going to see yellow, most likely competitively, you're going to see this deck. So it's good to either play it or get prepared for it. And that's why I made this deck profile. But I appreciate everything. And like, subscribe, and comment. Feel free to ask me any kind of questions that you need. Feel free to inquire about other deck lists, or if you are looking for a certain leader that you want to build for, I don't mind doing a deck list. Just comment and say something, And I'm on Facebook, Instagram. I have an online eBay store. So if you guys are into collectibles, there'll be a link in the description below. But other than that, thanks for joining me, and have a good one, guys. I'll see you on the next one.